It's the 2nd of May today, and today I'm just making a brief video about some of my Christmas tree into bonsai tree projects, and well, I guess you could say this is the newest one. Every year for the past few years since my father-in-law passed away, my wife has brought him a Christmas tree, put it on his gravesite and for the Christmas period, and then brought it home for me to do something with. And you know, just starting with something like this sort of size or a bit smaller, a couple of pounds, £5 or so, and I've had a go, and we'll just look at a couple of them. I've had a reasonable amount of success with these small size trees. So in the grand tradition, here's one I did earlier. This tree is due for some pinching, not in any particular style. I found the roots gave me this incentive to lean it. I really, although I haven't repotted it this year, I probably should have done. I'm not happy with the position in the pot. It's too far over to the left, too central, but that can be changed at a later date. I'm not going to do anything with it this year. Here is another one, and again, I haven't even cleaned up the base of this tree yet, but again, it's starting to shoot, and in a bit I will be pinching it out and just trying to keep it in this shape. This is well, it's a single trunk branching into 3 main trunks, but I like it. As I say, I've had some luck with the smaller trees, and even one of a mid-size tree. And this is a tree that I really need to work on today, because it's shooting all over the place, much more advanced than the other two I've just shown you. But before I do that, I feel I always said I will show you my disasters as well as my triumphs. Is that the right word? It doesn't feel like the right word. My successes. You know what I'm trying to say. I haven't killed this one, I haven't killed those other ones. But when it comes to growing larger Christmas trees and turning them into bonsai trees, well, I've had a track record of disaster. This was one of my large ones, the last large one I'm ever going to buy and try to grow. I grew it on for a couple of seasons, and all this is detailed in the playlist, and you'll see last spring it looked really healthy and it was growing quite nicely, and I wired all these branches into position, and then it just seemed to thicken over the summer, that really hot period, and I watched the leaves wilt, or the needles rather wilt, turn yellow, and then over winter they've just all dropped away. Those sharp frosts, I think, finally finished it. I know you're probably all thinking, well, the weeds didn't help, but actually all the weeds have grown up this spring. This tree was well dead before the weeds, and I just obviously haven't tackled that, because, well, why bother when the tree itself is dead? But I kept it hanging around because I intended to make this video, and I think it's important to recognise that with the best will in the world, sometimes we kill our trees. So yeah, anyway, honesty session and disaster session over. I will have to rescue the wire that's on this tree, and then it'll go off to the great log pile in the sky. So if I put the other two back in like that, then you can see with the cannon, the scale, what I mean about this being one of the more medium size, although this started as a small one too. What I've done so far to this tree is I've well, I've cleaned off the soil surface. I've added some controlled release fertilizer, top dressed it with some fresh bonsai compost, substrate, soil, call it what you will, and then I've started pinching. I've pinched out this branch for the most part and brought it back into shape a little. I need to take out a few branches from below here which are kind of filling in that little gap, and then I just need to keep pinching to keep the tree in bounds. So I'll move you in a little closer, and that's what I'm going to do. Pretty much done it. That might have looked like I removed quite a lot, but in actual fact it's just, well, 3/4 of a seed tray, I suppose. You probably also noticed that on a couple of occasions I went in and did some more selective trimming with the scissors, just to try and keep, well, I don't want it to go back to looking like it's a Christmas tree, if that makes sense. I want to keep these branches a little bit distinct one from the other, and occasionally you will get a whorl come up. Let's see if I can focus on that. So the branches come up, and then it's produced a whole bunch of shoots at the end, and that starts to look a bit knobbly, for want of a better term, and so it's quite good to get the scissors in, chop those out. Now, I've always said, and I will always say, my channel's not a how-to channel, only a how-I channel, and well, as you saw from the dead tree that I've just shown you, I'm not always successful, so always take my words for a pinch of salt, try things out for yourself, and there you have it. So I see there's a piece of wire on that branch, so I'm going to leave that on for a little bit longer. Just quite slow growing, and I also think I need to put this tree somewhere where it's going to be more like this side, because it's a little bit sparse in places. This is my perceived front, so the back has obviously been against the fence or something at some point, but there you go. So thank you so much for watching. Do all the usual YouTube things, the liking, the subscribing, and the commenting below. Most of all, please stay safe, everybody.